Welcome back. Every Voice is a mobile platform reimagining the future of democracy by giving everyday people a direct channel to transparently lobby and collaborate with their elected officials on legislative change. Here now is the co founder and CEO of Every Voice, Jackson Wirekoh. Jackson, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Kibin. Thanks for having me today.
Now, can you just give us a little bit of an overview of the Every Voice app?
So we built Every Voice as a way to tackle one of the big problems that we have in the US, which is connecting constituents with their reps in a way where constituents not only feel heard, but have meaningful outcomes in terms of legislative and policy changes. So we built an app that's aimed at improving those communication channels between constituents and representatives, increasing transparency of legislative outcomes, and trying to improve responsiveness between when you reach out to your reps and when you actually get a response back so that we start to have this kind of feedback loop to make more community led, community driven changes when it comes to policy and legislation.
Now, can you just talk about the act of just being a little bit more engaged in the political process? How does this actually empower individuals just to be engaged in this process a little bit more?
Yeah, so we wanted to make it really easy to engage with your reps. So the idea is that the platform is mobile. So from your smartphone, your tablet, your laptop, home computer, you can really get on the platform, start to create and curate a list of all of the things that are important to you. They could be as small as, getting a stop sign added to your neighborhood because people are speeding, or as large as ensuring IVF remains legal in the US. And as you create these, this list of causes that you care about, as more people join the platform who live in your voting districts, you start to be able to access, how many people support the same things that I support. How does that break down across demographics? Are there people that I thought who would disagree with me because of party affiliation or where they might live in the US who actually do? And then you start to have the correspondences with your representatives, making those interactions, starting to hold them accountable, understanding their voting record, where they stand on the causes that you care about, and what your community cares about as well.
Now, I'd like to go back to the beginning. Can you just explain what inspired the creation of Every Voice?
Yeah, so I grew up in a low income area in Northern Virginia. I've been a product of, the public system, attended public school, I've had public assistance, um, throughout grade school, undergrad, graduate school. And I've seen that there is this big need for having infrastructure in place to help people to be successful in the US. One of the problems that we have though is it's hard to really mobilize the finances that are needed to help people be successful. And although there's a lot of people, from talking with friends, family, strangers, people across the different political aisles and political divide, there's a lot of, I want to be able to take care of my family. I want to be able to take care of my kids. I want to make sure that we can be successful. And it's hard to find that there are political initiatives that don't get gridlocked to help push these things forward. So we wanted to really build out a space to allow people to start to advocate for these issues, do it in a very transparent and way to hold our representatives accountable and make sure that we're getting change that helps the majority of people who live in the US, regardless of your socioeconomic condition or your party affiliation.
Now, transparency in lobbying is a key aspect of Every Voice. How does the app ensure transparency, but more importantly, what impact does transparency have on the political landscape?
Yeah, so we're doing something that's kind of unique in this space. All of the content on the platform is user generated, either from the constituent side or from the representative side. But we make sure that the data is actually available to everyone. So you as a constituent, you can log on, you can see, what are the top issues in your voting districts at the local, state, and federal level. You can see how many people support the issues that you care about. You can see what's top of mind for other people that are in your community. All of the info is anonymous, so you have that freedom to share what you need without any sort of backlash. But then we go the extra step of showing you the data. So like how many women or men support the things that I care about, how many people who are Republicans, Democrats, Independents support the things that I care about, where do my reps stand on this information, when was the last time my reps actually looked at the information that I shared and shared a stance or updated their stance, and where are the pieces of legislation that are going through the legislative body, how do they relate to the things I care about, when were they last updated, when did my representative last make a vote on it, and how did that vote compare to where I stand. So we're really trying to play the big path forward of you have access to the data, you understand the insights, you can then leverage that for how you vote in the next election, how you organize within your community, the types of events or um, you know protests, campaigns that you want to get involved in. We all want to make surface that data to help make it more possible and easier to make political change.
Now, I'm really curious to know, how does Every Voice encourage community engagement, especially in a climate where a lot of people, due to, for whatever reason, are maybe turning away from politics or maybe don't feel represented? What does your organization do to just encourage the community to be more involved?
Yeah, we're trying to work both from a grassroots movement, so going out in the community, talking with people, trying to get them involved, both with politics as well as on our platform to share what they care about with reps. We're reaching out to representatives as well, so that we get kind of that both sides of the picture and of the key pieces. And then we're reaching out to nonprofit groups that are in the area, businesses that have a hand in wanting to strengthen our democracy and ensure communities across the U.S. are getting help. So we're putting in the legwork to go out there, knock on doors, meet people where they are, and try to show them that there can be a better way and a better alternative to what we have today. And it just takes each of us, sharing our voice, as difficult as it may feel sometimes, just taking that one step to start to get the ball rolling and build that momentum so that we can get to the change that we all want to see.
Now, something I think your organization does that's really interesting is that you actually reward civic engagement. Can you tell us a little bit more about that system on the Every Voice app?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, it's difficult to get people to participate in politics. We're very divided now. There's a lot of fringe voices that control the narrative, and people don't necessarily feel like they're going to be heard. So, as an added incentive to get people to participate and exercise their voice, we have a reward system where, as you create petitions, sign other people's petitions who live in your community, share your stances on where you stand, vote in polls created by your reps or nonprofit groups, you earn reward points. And we've partnered with a few businesses that will continue to grow as the organization grows to provide discounts and coupons for essential services. Like we're working with Evie to provide a discount for access to women's healthcare as one of our first partnerships. We're working with a company called The Cut to provide a discount on your first haircut that's booked on their app. So we're really trying to get to a place where not only are you able to make political change because you're sharing your voice, we also get something to make your daily life a little bit easier as well through our reward system with some of our business partners.
Now, as CEO and lead engineer of Every Voice, what challenges did you encounter during the development process and how did you overcome those challenges?
Yes, so we're a very small team right now. So there's a lot of different hats to wear, from user research to reaching out to representatives to understand their needs, their biggest pain points, reaching out to constituents, understand their needs and pain points, and then trying to coalesce all of that information into a usable app that's going to start creating the feedback loop that we want to see. So just like the time management of it, making sure that we're getting set up and we're doing it in a way that's very secure to ensure that user data is safe, but also very usable so that we're ensuring that we're getting to the right standards and metrics that we want for how democracy should be in the future.
Now, I think the fact that it's mobile and that it's an app can really help kind of push, just engagement a little bit more than it maybe has done in the past. I'm curious to know, how does every voice ensure that all voices, including those from marginalized communities, are heard and represented? And I also want to add that I think that having it on the app can kind of provide a safer way for people who are marginalized to kind of be a little bit more involved. But I'm curious to know, what are some ways your organization ensures that everyone has a voice and that their voice is heard?
So I think in this day and age, most people have access to an internet connected device, which is great. We still have further steps to go, but a big part of our platform is one person, one vote. So we don't have any artificial algorithms that are boosting things based on engagement, potentially negative engagement. It really is like if there are 100 people that care about this issue, you're going to see that on the app. You can take a look at data to really see, as long as people have shared some of their demographic information, where they sit on the aisle. So we can take a look at, from a representative standpoint, these groups that are marginalized, people that are low income, people that are underrepresented. We can see what issues are top of mind for them, and that can inform how representatives should be prioritizing some of the initiatives and policies that they're working on. And for everyone else that lives in the community that may be a bit better off, you also get access to that information, so you can see, like, these are some of my fellow constituents, my fellow New York City residents, for example, who are on tough times, and these are the things that they need help with. Maybe that's something that I can also put effort towards helping to get something passed, or even, doing more volunteer activities, or taking the extra steps to help people in the community, to get to a better place.
Now, can you share any success stories or examples of how every voice has influenced legislative change or policy decisions? You could also talk about whether or not you've seen communities change due to the app.
So we're just starting out, but we've been in touch and engaging with some of the representatives in the area. We're communicating with the mayor's office, for example, their Department of Civic Engagement, and we're trying to get as much info from the New York community to them as possible. So a few things that I think we're all feeling, especially in, this post-COVID world: housing affordability, access to affordable healthcare are two things that are really, really top of mind for people. And so we're, weekly, the information that we're getting on the app is being sent over to the reps, New York City Mayor's office, to a couple of state legislators as well, to help inform some of their policy initiatives. Uh, from talking with reps, we've heard that there's not a lot of people that reach out. So, a handful of people, 20, 30, 50, 100 people, can make a real difference in terms of how things get prioritized, here in the city and in the state. So, our words of encouragement are for everyone out there, who has anything that they want to change, no matter how big or small. If it's important to you, it's important to your reps. So just make sure to get out there and share that info.
Now, what advice do you have for individuals who are interested in becoming more politically engaged, but probably feel overwhelmed or unsure where to start?
Yeah, I think a good place to start is finding out who your reps are and what they stand for. Um, as we've built this platform, we've talked with a lot of people, and we've noticed a common theme is that they have no idea who their reps are outside of the US president, um, the vice president, maybe a member of Congress. Uh, your local and state legislators are the most important people in terms of what happens to you on a daily basis. So it's really critical to get out there and find out who they are. Our app can help with that. You register, we find all of your reps, and we get that information to you. Really learning about who they are, learning about what they stand for, and then starting to take a look at policies that are related to things that are important to you.
Now, what are your aspirations for Every Voice, and how do you envision it evolving in the years to come?
Yeah, we envision this becoming an essential tool to the way our democracy works. We are in a very tricky place right now with how things are moving and shaping up in this 2024 election cycle. So we're hoping that we can get more people involved, not just the loudest voices, but the everyday person who's going through something, who's struggling with something. We want to get more people involved, get them on this platform, and make it an essential tool for representatives to interact with their constituents for more positive, more community led change.
And kind of just looking ahead towards the presidential election, we found out that many young people ages 18 to 29 are feeling a little bit disconnected and have even voiced opinions towards not voting at all due to various reasons. How do you hope the app will connect to younger people, younger generations, especially those that are maybe younger millennials and Gen Z?
Yeah, I know the younger generation spend a lot of time on their mobile devices. Their attention is being split across a lot of different platforms as well. So we're hoping that we can engage that generation to start to feel like the things that they're putting out there into the internet, into the ether, are actually affecting general change. Um, you know, I've heard from a lot of people over the last few years that they're not sure if they should vote or if they will vote. Um, Either they don't know who the reps are or they think it's not going to make a change. But every voice really, really counts. You can make a big difference by learning and voting for those policies that you care about. Finding a rep that stands for those. You don't have to vote for either party. There's potentially an independent candidate, and I encourage people to vote for the person they think is going to do the best job for them, not just for the party that they think they should vote for.
All right, well, Jackson, I want to thank you so much for joining us and having this really important conversation. I'm just educating our community a little bit more about this. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.